Denny Hamlin's trying to block all lanes. He's to the outside, to the inside, to the checkered flag. Denny Hamlin has won the Daytona 500. A 1-2-3 sweep for Joe Gibbs Racing.
This is the greatest victory I've ever had, period, in my life.
Better than Super Bowls.
Better than Super Bowls, better than championships in racing. This was the most emotional, the best win for me ever because of JD and his life and the kind of life he lived.
Oh, welcome to NASCAR America. Steve Letarte here at the NBC Charlotte studios with Jeff Burton, three-time Daytona 500 winner Dale Jarrett. Guys, it's a great American race. We knew it was going to change someone's career. But, DJ, I can't remember a race with this much emotion at the end. Obviously, Coach talking about the loss of his son, JD, just a few weeks ago. Such a key member of that organization. You drove there. What were your thoughts?
I think as I sat and watched it yesterday afternoon and those final laps, and it kept showing Coach Gibbs and knowing the story there and being a part of that organization as it started, seeing JD come in to be a huge part of making all of this happen. He knew nothing about running a race team, but he was able to jump in there and do so many good things. And JD Gibbs was one of the finest young men that I ever knew in my entire life. And he was just a good person. He did so many good things. And it was good to see good things happen. You talk about that. Coach Gibbs has done a lot for a lot of people, and you could just tell this one meant more to him than anything that's ever happened.
Yeah, they've worked hard to share JD's life with other people, and you hear so many things great about JD. Well, this gave them another opportunity to do that, to remind everyone what a great person JD was. You saw it from Denny. You obviously saw it from his father and all the emotion. All his children were there. I mean, that's just a great day for those guys, and a terrible time. I mean, a time that just breaks your heart to know what that all of those guys are going through. But to be able to celebrate on this day and do it with JD on the A-post, that's a really, really special moment.
Well, you guys talk about what type of a person he was, and we could fill a show with his accolades. But I think on the professional side, it's worth noting. Remember, he found Denny Hamlin. Denny Hamlin would not be at Joe Gibbs Racing. I think that's very safe to say without JD's influence. They created that 11 car. I mean, his fingerprints are completely over that race car. To succeed, that specific Joe Gibbs car has to make a difference.
Yeah, he was competing against him somewhat in driving some late model races and things like that. And, saw this young man in Denny Hamlin, and, Denny was running, he was about out of money at that point in time. And JD went back and told his dad, he said, this is somebody we need to put in something soon. We need to have him in our organization.
And don't forget that program was in trouble. Yeah. It's easy to forget how much trouble that 11 car was having and how bad they were running. They were missing races. They were having all kinds of issues. Denny Hamlin came in and cleaned that up. He had made a major influence in getting that car where it was running well. That was a major sponsor that was missing races, was having a bad time. Things weren't going well at all. Yeah. And they put a lot of trust in a very young Denny Hamlin. And Denny Hamlin answered the call.
Well, I think that answers the emotion of the moment, but it's still the Super Bowl of auto racing. And, DJ, it shocked me. I think the turning point of this whole race had to be that last restart. It shocked me that we saw teammates work together on that final restart, 5 miles from winning the Daytona 500. So before we break it down, I think the best thing we can do is let's listen into the conversation between the 18 and the 11.
Let Denny have the top and let him down so we keep the 22 behind us both. And take the push from the 22, or we have the option, obviously, to take the top and see if we can get a push from the 34.
So him take top and me let him down?
That's the option.
Okay, cool. Let's do that. It's fine.
So that's a yes, I'm assuming? Yes.
Adam's suggesting that we do the teammate restart, us choose top. He'll let us down.
I'm good with it. He's just got to be, true to it, that he's going to let me in.
We're resuming the Daytona 500. Denny Hamlin gets a huge shove from Michael McDowell. Hamlin will cross over. He'll get in front of Kyle Busch, and now he's going to try to block both lanes.
We made a deal with the 11 to let him down. So, in doing that, it was strength in numbers, trying to keep us all together. And there's not enough cars for anything to materialize. There's 6 cars out there, so I probably knew better, but took that chance to make sure at least one of us won.
We did exactly what we said we were going to do, work together the entire race until 10 laps to go, and then let's go out there and try to get a win. So we, I know that he wants it bad. I understand, the fire that he has to win the Daytona 500. Trust me, if I could switch resumes with him, I would, in case I ever had to write one. But he's a great talent. His time's coming. There's no question about it. He's usually getting wrecked out early and never even had an opportunity, to be in the position that he was at the end of tonight. I think the one advantage that I had is I've been in that situation so many times over the last 10 years that I knew where I wanted to be. And I'm sure mental notes have been made, and obviously, if it turns around the other way next year, I'll congratulate him the same way.
Well, I have been in this position to try to explain to my driver what options are there. I thought Adam Stevens did a very nice job of laying out what Kyle Busch had for options. It was start up top with the help he had behind him and try to win the race, or start down bottom, perhaps more importantly, pinning the 22 behind him and letting his teammates in. So we know what Kyle Busch did. DJ, what would you do?
There's no way that I'm going to let somebody in. I would be a bad teammate. I guess that's why I never had more than one, I don't think, at any time. Maybe that was the reason. But that I admire Kyle Busch in so many ways. One of the most talented, if not the most talented race driver I've ever seen in my 62 years. But I think this was a terrible decision. You're in the position to win the one thing that you don't have right now. And to rely on someone else, because the only way that he is going to pass the 11 by this scenario is to get help from someone else. If you line up beside him and going to race side by side, Denny was probably going to take the top anyway, because he said that's where he wanted to be. But in that scenario, if you let him go ahead and choose the top, don't give him any options of getting down in front, then you can side draft, you can race him, hope that you get the push back there. There's so many options that you have, but you put yourself in a box right here, depending on someone else pushing you and helping you and trying to make that happen. So I think it's unfortunate. I'm sure he'll look back on this many times. You just don't get many chances to win this race. Comes around once every year, and to get yourself in a position enough times to try to win it. So I hate that for him, but I think it's a wrong decision.
I think we got to go back to the restart before. I think we need to go back to the restart before when Kyle had an option. Like, they didn't tell him what to do. Like, what I've heard so far from everybody was that with 10 to go, the deal's off, right? Race each other. Kyle took the bottom, the restart before. So see this restart before Kyle takes the bottom. Well, let's stop it right here. So look and see who's behind him. So he picked the bottom with the 34 and the 14 behind him. That gave the 11 with the 22 and the 24 in the top. That 24 was fast all day long. So, it's easy armchair quarterback on Monday, but this really is where the Daytona 500 was won and lost, is picking the bottom on this restart. It gave the 11 car what he wanted. And then as this develops on, you look at this wreck. This is when Clint Boyer moves up in the 34 too quickly. Right there, Denny Hamlin, boom, caution comes out. Denny Hamlin's got the lead. So now we go to the last restart, and that's when we started talking about, okay, we're going to work together again. So it was a combination of things, and I personally think that, if Kyle Busch had it all over to do it again today, which you don't have that luxury, you have to make a decision what you think is best at the time. But if he had to do it all over again today on that restart where he had the option, I think he would have taken the top if he had a chance to redo it. And when you heard Denny Hamlin talk about the experience that he's had in losing the Daytona 500 and restarting at the front of the race with only a few laps left to go, and he had put that away, and he wanted that outside. I have a feeling that Kyle would have wanted that outside if he had a chance to do it again.
Well, you mentioned experience. So you know me, the crew chief, I like numbers. Starting in 2012, Denny Hamlin, 4th in the Daytona 500. 14th, 2nd, 4th, 1st, 17th, and 3rd. A lot of single digits, a lot of top 5. You mentioned the opportunity to win that race. Dale Jr., I didn't quite understand speedway racing. I was blessed enough to have Jeff Gordon. He handled most of it. When I got Dale Jr. as a driver and a lot of guys were riding around in the back, I had that conversation, well, why don't we do that? And he said, listen to me. Every one of these races is different. The flow, how the passes happen. I have to be up front every time to know what move I need to win the biggest race. You talk about the experience of Denny Hamlin. He's been in the front 2 or 3 rows on the final restart 6, 7, 8 times in the last 10 years. That is a huge advantage. When we talk about rookie drivers and experience, we use all these buzzwords. Here's a clear case example of another reason why I happen to agree with both of you. You cannot give Denny Hamlin the lead with 5 miles left in the Great American Race when his numbers are that good.
Yeah, I think that and I say, Denny was going to take that outside. If they would have just left it alone, not make any deals whatsoever, and just race with that, then I think you can live with yourself in that. They're going to just have to go on. But I think that Denny was going to take that. They gave him an option that was, just like a gift. We're gonna put you out front.
He's really gonna do it, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So we're gonna let you have the front, and then we're gonna make people pass you. He's proven he's one of the best at this. I don't know that he gets enough credit for really how good he is at these speedway races. He does an outstanding job of maneuvering through traffic, and then he knows what to do when he gets in front. So I just would never have put him in that position. Again, let him make his decision. Denny didn't even have to ask for this to happen. They handed it to him.
Yeah, and he's not the guy. I think what a race, great race, a lot of speed. Joey Logano was in the picture, an emotional finish.
Hey, NASCAR fans, thanks for checking out the NBC Sports YouTube channel. Make sure you hit subscribe below for the latest NASCAR news, race highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.